back to the Dialogue with Richard Howk. I am Richard Howk, and we've got a lot to cover today, so we're just going to jump right into it. This is the segment I want to call like my weekly wrap-up. If you're wanting to relax with a good book this weekend, or maybe go out and see a movie, I kind of want you to be informed of what's available out there for you. What came out this week, something new to take a look at. And the first thing I want to start with this weekend, and I am so excited, is Thor Ragnarok. It comes out tonight in select theaters, but in full release tomorrow. I'm actually going up tonight to Springfield, Missouri to go see my brother and his girlfriend, and we're all going to go watch it tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. There's actually 4 movies coming out this weekend. Thor will probably be the only one I'll see in theaters. The next movie I probably won't go see in the theater, and it's A Bad Mom's Christmas. It looks funny, don't get me wrong. I liked the first one, Bad Moms. It was really, really good movie. It's just, like I said, it's one of those that I don't foresee myself paying, $10 to $15 for tickets. But I would give it a go to Redbox and pick it up when it comes out. After that is a movie that looks really interesting, and I'm definitely going to watch it. Probably Netflix time. So it's probably a tier below Bad Moms, but it's called My Friend Dahmer. It's a biography about Jeffrey Dahmer, and it's pretty eerie looking, but I think it's something that I would be interested in see. Like I could see people that are fans of like Mindhunter on Netflix. That kind of it's got that kind of feel to it. It's a little creepy, but I'm definitely in on it. The last one on my list that's coming out this week is a movie called Lady Bird. And it's a more indie film. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. It looked pretty interesting. More of a life story than any kind of action or anything like that. But that still really, really goes for me. I really like those kind of movies. That was the only thing that came out in the box office this week. There were a couple trailers that came out for movies that are upcoming. And the first one I want to talk about is the new extended TV trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi. Looked amazing. I'm so excited about that. I haven't bought my tickets yet, but we're on the cusp of buying those. I got to decide if I'm going to watch it in Springfield or watch it here. The next trailer I wanted to talk about was the Tanya Harding story. It's called I, Tanya, and it stars Margot Robbie as Tanya Harding, and it's about the whole kneecap breaking incident with her and Nancy Kerrigan. It feels like it's got the feel of maybe The Big Short, where every once in a while they were going through the story and then they would break the fourth wall and talk to the camera. But it looked kind of funny. So maybe it's not as just a serious drama as it is maybe just they kind of take a little more lighthearted feel about it. The next one I saw actually came out about a month ago, but since I haven't really done many of these in a long time, I wanted to bring it up and say it was something that caught my eye. And actually my coworker showed it to me. She's a huge Tomb Raider fan, and it is a reboot of Tomb Raider. What they're doing, it stars Academy Award winner Alicia Vikander, and she plays Lara Croft, and I was impressed. I get a little nervous about all these reboots and the sequels that we keep bringing back from 30 years ago. And so when I hear something like that, it really makes me nervous. But from what it looked like in the trailer, it looked really good. It looked like they might have nailed it. So I'm going to have my fingers crossed on this one. I think it should be good. And for everything that I bring up today, I'm going to have the links down below so you can check it out for yourself and see what you think of the video. And leave some notes and tell me what you're excited about with these and what's going on. And also, since I hadn't been doing some of these, I didn't really get to talk about the fall TV shows and some of the stuff I'm excited about. And the first show from the new fall schedule is Stranger Things 2. It was incredible. I binge watched it in like Saturday morning to Saturday evening. It was just top. It's top shelf. It is done so great. It evokes such. I was a kid of the '80s, and I would have been about the same age as these kids, and it invokes such a memory for me personally. I connect to it so well. and all the visuals and hanging out at the arcade and all this different stuff that they do, riding our bikes around. And I really, really connect with it on that level. But then on top of that, the storytelling and the way way it's shot, it evokes such memories of like the first one was more maybe of a Steven Spielberg, and it still has some of that feel. But there's also a little bit of Stephen King in this and it's so incredible. I enjoyed this season more than I did the first season, and that's saying quite a bit. So like I said, it's almost on the top of my shows, and I'm really sad that I have to wait another year to see another episode. I'll probably watch it several times between now and then, but that's the one thing about binge watching, though. You knock it out in a weekend, and now you got to wait a whole another year or so before it even comes back on. So it's kind of tough sometimes. I want to talk about two shows now that have come out this season that they're similarly related. I was a big Trekkie during the Star Trek: The Next Generation, kind of going into Deep Space Nine, and then I in every new movie that comes out, I'm there. The new series that they have out is called Star Trek Discovery. I've watched all episodes so far, and I love it. And but it's a little different than anything that Trek has put out there before. Because usually a Trek episode, it would be, if you took it by itself, it was a self-sustaining. You could watch an episode and it really didn't have anything to do with what had gone on. There was no storyline that had been going throughout the whole season or anything like that. It was usually standalone episodes. That's the one thing that's different about this one. This one is a continuous story throughout the whole series. The storytelling in this one is fantastic. And I can't say enough good things about it. It's really kind of brought back that feel of Trek that I really like. The other program that's in that line this year, and it actually has such a good feeling, like as bringing me back to that Next Generation, is The Orville. And it's a comedy set in space, but it takes a lot of liberties in what it borrows from Star Trek. Seth MacFarlane is the creator and the star. Love Seth MacFarlane, huge Family Guy fan. And Ted, A Million Ways to Die in the West. I love Seth MacFarlane. And Seth MacFarlane would be one of those guys that if I had like 4 dinner guests, I would invite. That's an episode that I'll do sometime. Anyway, the show is got that standalone. I mean, it's got the feel of Next Generation with a lot of comedy. I mean, it's so funny, and it's so. I mean, even with taking, borrowing a lot from Trek, it still feels original. I mean, and I love it. It's on Thursday nights at 8. It's on tonight at 8, so I'm going to be there watching it here in just a little bit. But that's just some of the shows that I'm interested in this fall. I mean, there's some other ones I really want to get on. I'd kind of like to start maybe The Mayor. Kind of seems kind of, it's an ABC show. Seems kind of funny. I might jump on that, but I definitely want to get on The Mindhunter on Netflix. That looks really interesting. I haven't got the chance to get to it yet. But I'd also like to hear, what are some of the shows that you are into this year? The new shows, or maybe something that's coming back for second or third season that maybe, doesn't have a greatest following as some of the others that you're really into and, you want to tell us about. But I'd really be interested in seeing what you guys like and see some of your recommendations. And finally, on the weekly wrap-up, I wanted to end with books. I leave that for the end because I get asked a lot about this, and this is something I can talk about for a little bit. But I get asked about what I like, as far as what I read, and a lot of them will ask me what I compare my writing to, where it kind of fits along the line. And first of all, I don't compare it to anybody because they're all so much better than me. But who I like to read, who I gain stuff from. And the first book that's blown my mind lately is actually older. It's a couple years older, but it was part of the Philip DeFranco. He has a book club that he does once a month, and it was the first book that he did in that. It's called Ready Player One. It's by Ernest Cline. That book was amazing. I absolutely loved it, and it was a story of, it's kind of a post-apocalyptic time. The everybody's it's set in the future, but everybody pretty much lives on a virtual world, and in that you log into this, you go to school through this virtual world, and inside this virtual world, the guy that invented it leaves a treasure after he dies, and basically there's a huge treasure hunt, and that's what it's all about, going after that treasure and overcoming what they have to, what they have to do in the real world to get to it. But it's a fantastic book. I'm really looking forward to the movie. But the last book I wanted to talk about came out a couple weeks ago. I've already read it, and it's called Turtles All the Way Bound, and that's John Green. John is someone that I really looked up to as far as someone who has a grasp on how to do this. As a new author, I mean, I look at him and say, this is a man who knows what he's doing and how to get out there and reach people and keep in contact with people. I mean, and I really like that about him. But the book was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. It was number one on the New York Times bestseller. So if I can recommend any of these books, that's probably the one I would recommend first. It's just fabulous. And also, I would recommend subscribe to the Vlog Brothers. It's funny in the way they do their stuff. Is usually they go back and forth, basically sending videos to each other and talking to each other. So when Hank is filming, he's talking to John. When John's filming, he's talking to Hank. So it's really neat to watch them. Watch it. It makes you feel like you're part of their life and that you're in part of their messages back and forth in their personal confidential talk. So, but they're really interested. Both of them are very, very smart men. I really, and I respect them very much. But if I could, if people ask me, and I'm going to go into this later, I'm actually going to talk a couple shows about which authors influenced me. I'm going to talk about, YouTubers that influenced me that I watch daily. But I wanted to talk about John here first because, first of all, his book, like I said, just came out. But he also is that crossover. He's that guy that, I respect him as an author, and I respect him as a YouTuber, as a creator. And I have the utmost respect for him in both categories. So anyway, but that's about all I had for today. Kind of a long show. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I know I've been filming for a long time, so we'll see what it goes to when I cut down. But as always, if you like what I'm doing, like it down here somewhere. I get so confused on the switch of the camera, but I think it's right there. And if not, it's over there. And if you like that and want to subscribe, it's on the other side, wherever that's at. It's one of those down there. But anyway, like and subscribe and leave a comment. I really want to hear what, tell me about some of the things that you're into. Tell me about, your TV shows. Tell me about your movies that you're excited to see. And let's start a discussion. We'll talk about it. But until next time, goodbye.